City.
Actually, that's spot on.
It is spot on.
All the competition that try to compete.
Everything is spot on. What is up? It is Young God, the Holy One himself. I am here with another episode of Cloud 9 Analytics, the highest quality commentary, the highest quality analysis, with the highest quality product, but I can't show y'all that till later. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is Tom Brady's old man moment at the end of the game against the Chicago Bears. When I tell you, for Tom Brady not to know what down it is, that's that Alzheimer's, bro. He getting old. He wouldn't have did that 5 years ago. He wouldn't have did that 7 years ago. First off, Tom Brady's arm is still extremely accurate. Still has arm strength. He's still throwing it down the field at 43 years old, which is the craziest thing to me. He's still getting those passes in. It's not as much velocity, but what you can notice with Tom Brady, he is afraid in the pocket. He's seeing ghosts. He's hearing footsteps. He's falling to the ground to try to avoid sacks. He's sliding to try to get away. He's trying to make sure that he doesn't take the big hits. And he took a lot of big hits against the Chicago Bears. I'd say it was maybe 3 or 4 that were very rare Tom Brady hits. He would never have taken those hits in New England. And one of those hits looked like the hit that injured him and kept him out for an entire season. So Tampa Bay needs to shore up that offensive line, or I don't think Tom Brady is going to make it all the way to the end of the season, because it was looking vicious out there. And I'm glad that the Bears did their normal game plan. They blitzed. They also sent 4 constantly to make sure that Brady had somebody in his face. And at the end of the day, I think all of the hits, I think him trying to press, and I think him being flustered is what led to his old man moment. Didn't know what down it was. And that's what lost Tampa Bay the game to the Chicago Bears. Now, if the Saints win on Monday against the Chargers, they will now be down in the division by a half game after being up in the division by a half game, by being 3-1 and the Saints being 2-2. But now you're back in the dogfight. Now the division is back up for grabs, and you guys have to win games. If you do not protect Tom Brady, he will not be able to find your receivers. If you do not protect Tom Brady, everything that you spent your money on, Tampa Bay, depends on the shoulder and the legs of TB12. So if he is not healthy, your season is over. If he is afraid in the pocket, your season is over. Already, 2 powerhouses in the NFC South have lost games where they have been highly favored in. The Saints, with injuries and with Drew Brees looking less than himself this year, are 2-2. Tampa Bay, with that suspect offensive line, and Tom Brady looking afraid in the pocket, are 3-2. I wonder how everything's going to shake towards the end of the year. Now, I have been on MVP watch on Cloud9 Analytics since week 1, and I have one small change to my top 4 in the MVP odds. We still got the same 3. We got Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. But I gotta add one more name to that who has been balling out of control, who has been one of the leaders in passing yards this year, who has been facilitating, who has been showing growth in year 3, Josh Allen. Josh Allen was a punchline. Josh Allen was a joke. Josh Allen was all talent. Josh Allen was a glorified Tim Tebow, but he spent this offseason working. He spent this offseason playing. He spent this offseason going hard, because right now Josh Allen he's reading defenses, he's running when he needs to, he's throwing cannons. Josh Allen might have the strongest arm in the NFL right now. Just pure arm strength. Josh Allen might have the strongest arm in the NFL right now. He is playing ridiculous. He is playing out of his mind. Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen. I feel like the Bills are still going to be in a dogfight for that division because the Patriots are not terrible. Hopefully, Cam Newton can recover sooner than later from COVID-19. If so, it is going to be a dogfight in that division. If Cam Newton misses too many games, the Bills are going to have it sewed up, and we're going to see them in the playoffs, and I think they can actually make some noise in the playoffs. They have one of the best defenses in the league, top 5 at least. You see what I'm saying? And I just like what they're doing up there. They're not beating their chest and things like that. They stay in low key. They know they underdog team. They know they a sleeper team, but they working, and I love it. I love what the Bills are doing right now. I love it. Now, before I switch off to the NFL, I'm going to again state my Super Bowl picks for 2021. I have the Kansas City Chiefs winning in a rout against the New Orleans Saints. I feel as though the New Orleans Saints are going to have the continuity at the end of the year to potentially win 2 to 3 straight games. It's not about who had the best season. It's about who has the best continuity going into the playoffs and in the playoffs. And I feel like the Saints are one of the teams right now who, once they figure it out and get healthy, will have the continuity in the NFC. They're going to have to go through Green Bay. They're going to have to go through Seattle, and they already lost to Green Bay. So it's going to be tough sledding. The NFC is the strongest division. So I'm going to take the Saints off of sheer continuity, off of sheer chemistry, off of sheer offensive power and defensive potential. Their defensive front seven is amazing, and their secondary is serviceable. I have the Kansas City Chiefs pretty much going through the AFC without too much extreme resistance. They have the Ravens number. So they are not scared of the Ravens at all. Of all of the other teams in the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs are one of the very few teams who are not scared of the Ravens. Lamar Jackson has not beaten Patrick Mahomes in his career. I don't really see any other teams in the AFC challenging the Chiefs to a point where they are looking in the rearview mirror or hearing footsteps behind them in the AFC. I feel as though that they're going to move pretty smoothly through the AFC, put that work in, finish the job, and they will be in the Super Bowl. And then, my personal opinion, I feel as though if the Kansas City Chiefs and the New Orleans Saints made it to a Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs would rout the New Orleans Saints. The secondary for the New Orleans Saints is not fast enough, does not have enough IQ, and does not have enough sheer talent to deal with Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Sammy Watkins, Williams. They're good on the running game, so I'm not extremely worried about Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the running game. And in the passing game, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is just as devastating. So with that being said, I would take the Kansas City Chiefs over the New Orleans Saints in the Super Bowl. That's my Super Bowl picks for this year. Now, there was a question posed on social media, and I want to address it today. The question was, if the roles were reversed, who would win the NBA title? If LeBron James was on the Heat and if Jimmy Butler was on the Lakers, who would win the title? That is a very easy answer. The Heat would be up 3-1 in this series if LeBron James played for the Heat instead of Jimmy Butler. And I'm not going to necessarily go off of all of the special intangibles that you guys like to use. I'm going to go off of sheer stats. LeBron James is averaging more points, more rebounds, more assists than Jimmy Butler. And the Heat are barely losing. So with that being said, if maybe some of those games where Jimmy Butler had 14 points, 16 points, 18 points or something like that, that 43-point triple-double was amazing. But if all of the other 14, 15-point games that Jimmy Butler has had, think about if those games were 28 points. Think about those games where Jimmy Butler had 5 assists, that was 11 assists. Think about those games where Jimmy Butler had 6 rebounds, and that is 15 rebounds. That's what LeBron James brings to your team. He brings 28 points regardless. He brings 10 to 15 rebounds regardless, and he brings 8 to 13 assists regardless. No matter what the rest of your team does, no matter what the rest of your team has to offer, no matter if they're playing good, bad, or indifferent, LeBron James is 28, 10 to 15, and 8 to 13. It does not matter who he's playing on or who he's playing against. Without the facilitation ability of LeBron James, who would be the point guard? Jimmy Butler? Rajon Rondo? You want Rajon Rondo? No, Rondo. Yeah, it'd be Rondo, because Jimmy Butler can't run point for 4 quarters. So you're telling me that you're gonna have Rajon Rondo on the floor in the NBA Finals for 4 straight quarters? That's how you gonna run an offense? Rondo, Anthony Davis, Butler? Because one of the main reasons that the Lakers work so well is because the offense at point goes from LeBron to AD. So a lot of the reasons that the Lakers do well is because of LeBron James shot making a lot of the times, which Jimmy Butler has only shown to be able to do in 2 games this entire playoffs. Jimmy Butler has gone off offensively. 2 games the entire playoffs. Not 2 games the entire series. 2 games the entire playoffs has Jimmy Butler gone off scoring. And by I say gone off, I think more than 28 points. He's only had 2 games like that in the entire playoffs. And you're telling me that the Lakers would be better off without LeBron James' scoring, facilitating IQ, and just sheer passing ability on its own? I'm not saying that the games would be routes, but I am saying that LeBron James would be up 3-1 right now with the Heat or with the Lakers. Jimmy Butler doesn't bring as much to the table. There's nothing wrong with Jimmy Butler. He's an amazing player, and he's showing that he is more important than the stats tend to show about him. Jimmy Butler is an eye test basketball player. His stats are all right. His stats are good. His stats aren't great. But when you watch him play basketball, you just see that he's a star. So I'm not taking nothing away from Jimmy Butler, but LeBron James does more for you, for your team, for your organization. So I will always, no matter what team it is, take LeBron James' team over Jimmy Butler's team. And that's facts. And if you guys need anything else, subscribe to Spot On Sports on YouTube. Subscribe to Spot On Sports on Instagram. Subscribe to Pimp Talk TV on YouTube. That is Spot On Sports on YouTube, Pimp Talk TV on YouTube, Spot On Sports on Instagram, or if you just want to follow me as Young Guide ATM on Instagram. This has been Cloud9 Analytics. The highest quality analysis, the highest quality commentary, with the highest quality product, but I can't show y'all that till later. It's Young Guide, the Holy One.
We thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode. Be sure to check out more shows here on this YouTube page, such as SOS Discussions or My Point Exactly, and most of all,
keep watching Spot On Sports!
it's a new wave of sports that's sweeping the nation. We're not just accurate, it's spot on.